Well, we're ready to kick off our December meeting. I'm John Zimitsch. I'm the vice president, and I'm filling in for Trena tonight. She is under the weather. So once again, you get B team up here instead of over on the AV, where I'm quite often the B team. So hopefully everything will go smooth. But right now, where we're sitting, remember tonight, this is election night in the club, and we do need a quorum. I believe we're still short. And we have 25 online, and what about 30 some in-house?
Not everybody online is also, some of them are also here. So.
Oh, and okay. Okay, so if you know any other members, reach out to them with a reminder that the meeting is tonight. And we'll proceed with the meeting, and then when we have the quorum, we'll take our vote. Okay. The December meeting, this is beautiful shot. Aurora has been really good this year, and if you can get up into space, you can get a shot like this. Or if you have a rocket with a camera, go ahead and throw it up there and get some pictures. Yeah. Okay, I thought I was. I'm not. There we go. So tonight, I believe online we have Trena. She could join us online. And in the house, I am up here. We have Dave out here, our secretary. We have the treasurer, Matt, and Conrad. There he is over there. And then Ahmed. And we'd like to open up by just thanking Conrad. Conrad's been on the board now, serving for 4 years, and he decided to step down after the 4 years. And I guess dedicate more time at CGO or
yeah,
that's a part. Would you want to come up and just say a word or two, since we'll put him on the spot? We didn't prepare this. Sorry, Conrad.
Yeah, I was just saying that I thoroughly enjoyed, the 4 years that I've been in the board. I've done a few things, it's done a lot.
Is it? Oh.
Yes.
The batteries. You know what? We'll just go to plan B.
Okay.
Talking to that.
Okay. All right. Can you hear me? Okay, that's a lot better. I started to say that, I've been on the board for 4 years. I've thoroughly enjoyed the time I've been on it. Some of the things I worked on, I forget the gentleman's name, the one that passed away, mountain biking up in Hayward, the guy that had their observatory, Joe Timmerman. I was put in charge from some of the people from the Green Bay Club to sell all of his equipment. So that was kind of a fun project. It was challenging because I had to keep track and communicate with the Green Bay Club what's being sold, because they went through Joe's wife. And just everything else. But I thought it was time for somebody else to take my spot. I'm still working. I have a demanding job. That's part of it. I'm retiring next year, thank God. And I want to spend more time at CGO, which I think you probably mentioned. I'm going to be charged with imaging down there, so I want to focus on that. So anyway, but thanks for everybody supporting the board the last 4 years. It's been fun. So, all right.
Check. Hey, we got the mic back.
Yeah, thanks, Conrad. And just so we are opening up, what that does, it just opens up some other spots in the organization. And we have a lot of members. We have close to, it's close to 700 members. So we should have a nice inflow of people volunteering throughout the organization, including the board positions. And in light of that, just thank all the members of the organization for supporting the organization. Remember, our main mission is outreach and to let other people know, expose people to astronomy. And that's the basis of what we do. And then we just have a lot of incentives. We have a lot of incentives for the members to take advantage of. So just like to thank all the members, because all your the dues that you pay go to support this organization. And a special thanks to all the volunteers, those of you who volunteer at our events, at our sites, at meetings, with any other items that we have that come up, that you're supporting the organization. Is, thank you. And we also want a special thank you. We had a matching contribution donation again. I guess Matt can talk about the numbers for that when he gives his treasury update, but it was a matching contribution for charitable donations to the organization, which doesn't mean dues. It's anything above membership dues or other donations to the club. And we have that matching contribution as well. So let's give a hand thank you to.
Thank you.
And as I remembered at the outset, this is a business meeting and we are required to have a quorum to complete our business, which is the elections. So we'll just proceed and then see where things line, and hopefully we'll be on target there. And Ahmed, would you like to come up?
Thank you, John. And regarding quorum here, we're not a quorum yet. We're 13 short of a quorum, and pretty much my request to each and every one of you, if you know a club member who's not here today or not online, give them a call, give them a text. We need to have a quorum, and that quorum is 70. And right now, Steve, I think we're at 57, right? So yeah, we're 13 short, so we need to push that forward. Otherwise, we're going to need to reschedule elections. Hopefully we don't have to do that. So pretty much here, I'm going to go through the rules high level, and then we're going to have the candidates. And pretty much the three positions that are open are vice president, treasurer, and board member at large too. And pretty much the candidate qualification is that they're a member and they're a member in good standing. Now, as for voters, if you're here, you're checked in with Steve, or we checked you online, then you're effectively to vote, and we counted you as a part of the quorum. You're effectively a member in good standing. And for those of you, as you know, if you lapsed on your dues, some of you actually came in here with checks. So thank you for renewing your membership and continuing to be members. And pretty much it's one vote per membership. So it's yourself and your spouse are members. You only get one vote unless you and your spouse are two separate memberships. And then, when you're voting, you're only going to be voting for, one of the candidates for each of the categories, not more than one candidate. Sounds good? So the rules are, the quorum is 10% of the club membership. Right now, the club membership is at 698. So that's approximately, 70 people for a quorum. And that you can attend as long as you register, online, or you've registered in person, you will count towards the quorum. If you're a member and you register, you'll count towards the quorum, whether you choose to vote or no, whether, you can abstain from voting. That's also your choice, but you will count towards the quorum. And as said, one ballot per membership and one vote per position. And for online voters, we've already started verifying your names against the membership list and checked most of you in, Valts and myself. Thank you, Valts. And pretty much hopefully tonight we get to move forward with the election, and we will have preliminary results tonight, and then we have to audit things, and by Monday the final results will be out. Any questions regarding the rules or the process or anything? Okay. I hear no questions, so I'll move forward. So the candidates are for vice president. Right now it's running uncontested. And for every position, you're going to have the candidate and you can also abstain. That means you're still counting towards the quorum, but it's up to you whether you want to vote for a candidate or abstain. And the first candidate is John Zimitsch. So I'll give John the microphone, have him pretty much sell us on why we should vote for him and not abstain. Go ahead, John.
Oh, well, I can't get my mic working. There we go. I should not abstain. Well, you can go ahead and abstain. But I just, it was 2 years ago that Mark asked if I'd like to serve on the board as vice president. And I thought, this is an excellent organization. I've benefited a great deal. And I thought, well, I could contribute and see what I could do to help out the organization. So basically, the way I look at it, I offered my services to the Minnesota Astronomical Society. And when I look at serving on the board, I have a responsibility. I'm a steward of the resources of the club, and that's the financial resources is primarily, and then just all the assets and the people as well. And so my goal is to do the best I can with that. When I came in, I noticed that we could use some improvements around budgeting and finances, and I worked with Matt and just some of the accounting, and there's nothing really that earth-shattering that we turned things around. There's nothing major wrong. The club was functioning very well, but there's just some improvements, and we've made those, and I'm looking to continue that. We have some other ideas in mind. Once again, nothing major, just little things to just keep things tight and operate smooth. And so I'm looking forward to helping out with that. So I thank those who voted for me last time. And if you will accept my offer to serve the organization again, then go ahead and don't abstain. But okay.
Anybody has any questions for John? Okay, if no questions for John, thank you, John. Good luck. And Matt, you're next. You can laugh, but you're next. So why should you vote for Matt and not abstain?
Can you watch the screen and let anybody in? We're still getting some new people coming onto the meeting, and we have to admit them for this. Oopsies. Oh, there I am. Handsome guy. Anyway, okay, so I started in 2018 as a board member at large, and then the position for treasurer became open. So in whatever the next number is, 2019, I lined up to put my name in the hat for the treasurer position and ran unopposed. And then 2 years later, ran unopposed. And tonight, I guess I'm running unopposed. So that might be a hint as to how much fun this job is. But what I would love to impress upon people is that it's actually a really interesting and educational and kind of fun job, because I get to hang out with these folks. You really get to know an organization if you know where the money goes. So I think we spend the money very carefully. We try to make sure that we take care of the membership and provide really great facilities and equipment and support everybody really well. So, but we're always looking for new ideas and opportunities to make things better for members and volunteers. My part in doing taking care of the books it's kind of a side thing. It's not that complicated, except during budget season where there's a lot of work. But right now we're getting geared up for 2024, and it's really exciting. So I would appreciate your vote, or you can abstain, I guess. And I'll just keep my record going there. Any questions? Okay, thank you.
So if you need a check from the MES, you know who to talk to. No, thank you, Matt. Okay, so, and we have effectively, for the board member at large, we have 3 candidates. Jessi, would you please step forward? And Alan and Hal, please, 3 of you step forward. And you can vote for any of the three. You can only vote for one, or you can abstain. So you have 4 options. Sounds good? And effectively, the vote between the 4 options that you have, actually abstain wouldn't count towards a winning candidate, but the vote between the 3 options that you have, the 3 candidates that you have, will effectively be whoever has the highest number of votes. Sounds good? Well, let's start, with Jessi. Go ahead.
Okay. Hi, I'm Jessi, if for those of you who don't know me. I'm still fairly new to this whole astronomy thing. I got my first telescope in 2020. Yes, thank you, COVID. And I've been trying to be really involved with everything since then, with ELO and CGO and outreach. Yeah, do a lot of outreach. And I just want to be there to help the board however I can going forward. I don't know what else you want me to say.
Thank you, Jess.
Thank you.
Alan, you want to go ahead?
Yep.
John and Matt didn't get that.
I'm Alan Touchberry. I've been a member of the club since I think it was 2021, maybe 2020. I've done some observing with the club in ancient history. My bio had most of this in it, so I won't bore you to tears with more of that. I'm interested in being on the board because we all need to go serve. We have 700 members. We should all take a turn serving in the club leadership and making the club better for our members and making sure that we meet the needs of our members. So that's really my interest in serving on the board, is to serve the club.
Very good. Thank you.
Greetings. My name is Hal Yngve. That's me on the end here. And I've been a member off and on since the mid 90s. So that was even before ELO was built. So that's kind of fun seeing that whole thing. I'm so impressed with the turnouts at ELO and such enthusiasm and all the young people who are out there. It's just almost overwhelming. It's just very impressive. And that is what sort of inspired me. Also, one of my fellow members recently, we were talking at one of the meetings or at one of the star parties this fall, and she was discussing getting a astronomical league certificate for the moon. And that's kind of, for me, that's a little bit of a daunting task. I think you have to memorize many dozens. Does anybody here know how many items you have to memorize on the moon to get? But how many is it? Like 70? 200? And so I started thinking, well, we could, do a little mini certificate and hand them out right at the thing. The first item being, oh, that's the moon. Oh, look, it's round. So that's what inspired me to run. But I've had a change of heart, and I really don't want to be on the board because I think a younger member should. Some of this enthusiasm is so wonderful. So I would endorse either of the candidates, but it was Jessi here who actually inspired me and this moon observing. So, but on the other hand, if you were to vote for me and if I were to be selected, I would happily serve to the best of my ability. Any questions?
Procedural standpoint, are you in or out? You got to be clear.
Well, I'll stay in, but really you should vote for a younger person.
Okay, so Hal is in the race. And
vote for Jeff.
fair enough. Okay. Yeah. So
because I can promote astronomy. I can promote astronomy and these miniature little moon certificates without being a board member. Just being out at the events. And all the little kids and young adults, 12-year-olds, etc. And showing them the wonders of the universe and describing what's on the screen. For example, I think it was the western half of the Veil Nebula, showing that to people. And it's inspiring. And I can do that without being on the board. And so that's where the realization that I came to, because that's my interest. Thank you.
Thank you. So one last time, you're in or out, because people have to vote accordingly. And I'm sorry, but I'm trying to run things per procedure here.
Just cut
For
me
the-
out and vote for someone else.
So you're out.
I'll be out.
Okay.
Yeah, so, right, no, go ahead and vote for me if you feel that that's not.
Okay.
Happily, easy to get me in.
Okay. You're in, Hal. That it is what it is. You're in.
Do some
Yeah.
enthusiasm and happy cheer, but
Okay.
it's not-
Okay,
that's
so-
my-
So Hal is in. He can vote for Jessi, Al, or Hal. And,
Don't forget Alan.
yeah, he goes by Al. Yeah.
Yep, Al.
Alan, yeah. Now, anybody has any questions for the three candidates? People online, if you have any questions, please go ahead.
Just said, thank you to all the volunteers and candidates.
Any questions from the room here? Okay, if there are no questions, thank you and good luck to each and every one of you. Whether you win or you don't, it doesn't matter. What matters is thank you for stepping forward and trying to do something for the club. That's very appreciated. So with that said, Steve, where are we at right now? Sorry, where are we?
Online, and I don't know about the vote.
Okay, and here's the thing. I see people filling out ballots. Go ahead. If you're in the room, you can give me your ballot, give it to Dave Falkner here, or to Steve, or to Valts, one of us four, and we'll take care of counting the votes. That's what I'm trying to check with them. Steve, do we have a quorum? Okay, well, I'll buy him some time, and I'm gonna say, it's interesting. The three candidates we got clapping, but people clap for them, but Matt and John didn't. I'm concerned about both of you, actually.
I feel it.
Yeah.
I guess I leave the poll open, right?
Let's leave it open for now until we have a quorum. And then we're gonna set a time saying, okay, voting will end by that time. Submit your vote by then. For people online, we will still need to check the people who voted online against our membership list. Because we recognize not everybody who's online is a member. Yeah, so the question actually pertains to the rules here for running the election, whether it was something that came from a national organization or something that was defined by this club. And my answer is, this is something that was defined by this club based on the bylaws that were approved by the members last year. I think it was in November when we voted on the bylaws.
2 years ago.
Any other questions? Okay, so Valts and Steve are counting the quorum and we'll continue this, but in the meantime, how about John, you keep moving forward with the meeting instead of people
Okay.
waiting? And when the quorum forms, I'll signal you so you can announce. it.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Ahmed, and candidates.
Can I interrupt real quick?
Yes.
I wanted to just ask others in the room if there was one person who said their poll popped up on the screen and then disappeared. Have you any idea way to get it back? They wanted to vote. And if not, I can. Okay.
If
I
we
don't
could
think you
get
can hear that
that
online.
number, do you have that member's name? Write it down so we can
Yeah.
make sure that they are counted.
I will do that. Oh, okay.
The suggestion, I heard a suggestion that if they leave the meeting and come back, that might renew the.
Oh, okay,
The voting, the poll.
yeah,
So,
yes.
okay. Yeah, I'll get the name.
And anyone online, if you're having an issue, please just send a message if you weren't able to vote or had any error messages at all.
So somebody was saying it might be behind your Zoom screen, minimize your Zoom window. Okay, we're 3 short. Everybody call people you know.
Okay. Yep, we're still, I just was informed we're 3 short. So if you can reach out to someone. And we're back here again. Okay, and well, Ahmed's back there. You missed a slide, Ahmed.
We got it.
I'll cover it. As far as voting for at this meeting, I think everyone's kind of figured it out already. In-person ballot, online. There's a polling feature. You have to be registered to vote, and you launch the poll, and the emails will be captured for member verification. That's the email addresses. So you have to be logged on with your registered email address for the club in order to be counted. Speaking of budgets, budgets are due from the site leaders for the 2024. The deadline is December 31st. Any questions on that? Okay, I think we've been working with site leaders, so that I wouldn't expect a whole lot, but anyone who's not familiar with. So new members, this is great. We have a lot of new members, except that hurt our quorum. If we could have had about 10 of you guys not join. but regardless, thank you very much for joining our organization. Do we have any new members in the house? Can I see? Show of hands. Oh, we have one back here. Okay, and what's your name, sir? Steve. The last name. I was looking down the left, and I would have got to it last. So see, Steve Vitale is in the house. Thank you. Welcome. Okay. And you get to participate in one of the crazy meetings that we have in the year. So welcome to your first. Is this your first meeting? Okay. So this isn't the example meeting that caused you to join. But and anyone online, if you could just respond if you're here, just put a text in there that you're new. And Steve, I'll put you on the spot. What are you interested in? It's an open book. Okay, well, 2 people away from you over here is Suresh right here with the hat. He's your best friend. He has a BSIG coming up. We're going to announce that later. It's Beginner Special Interest Group. And yeah, just tie into all the resources. Another one is going to be coming up. Ahmed, before you buy anything, you can try out stuff that we have. You have access to loaner equipment, which you saw at the last meeting, but those 2 guys are, I'd say, initially, and then just the members, the forums, and this goes to everyone online as well. Tap into the club. That's what we're here. We love helping other people, helping new people, and get them set up and on the right track. So welcome again to all our new members. Oh, there she has 698 right there. So I guess I was wrong. It was 698. Ooh, ooh. Okay, quick. What is it? That's what they used to. they get some people walking down the street, you club them over the head and drag them in. Go hit the saloons. Okay. So events before the next month meeting. We have the sunrise on December 7th. And it looks like it's probably already set. And you can kind of read down we have a number of close occultations with the moon, some very interesting things. And Venus, so this morning, you could just see them approaching. That's what I love about watching, especially like the Venus occultation is probably one of the most beautiful ones. If there's clear nights before and after it, because you can actually watch how the moon moves. Usually you just kind of notice it against the trees, but it depends what time it is when you're out there. You lose perspective. But when you have it going against a bright object like Venus, and you can look out and see the moon, and they're about that far apart, this morning, and you're just going to watch it. The moon's going to move, about that far every day, and just watch it move across. I love doing that. New moon on the 12th. And then we have meteor shower. We have the Gemini on the 14th. And then the winter solstice on the 21st. So then the days start getting longer again. Joe Souchere always referred to that as the first day of summer because the days start getting longer. Of course, the first day of winter was June 21st. So it has a flip side to it. But yeah, then the Ursid meteor shower on the 22nd. Antone, it's your turn.
Okay, well, Steve, Suresh may be your best friend, but I'm your second best friend because I've got all the telescopes. So that's right. Yeah, I'll get you set up and Suresh will help you learn how to use it. So anyway, we do have 18 instruments. We have refractors, cassegrains, we have Dobbs, we have a solar scope, and a couple of pair of binoculars. And these are all available to members for a 1-month loan. So far this year, we've sent out 86 loans. Yeah, and actually that's down a little bit from past years. So, yeah, but it's still a good number. Anyway, the way you check out a telescope is you go online to under our members loaner scope program, and you can see the whole list of what we have to offer. You fill out a little form, and then the computer will send a message to me, and I will contact you about when your choices are available, and we'll arrange an appointment in my driveway, and I will let you check out the telescope. I'll show you how to set it up if that's necessary, and then you're off to enjoy the telescope for a month. We also have a collection of great courses DVDs on all things astronomy. I have all of those at my home. There we go. They're up on the screen now. You can check those out. I guess nominally they're also a month loan, but you can keep them a bit longer than that as necessary because these things are hours long, and it's not easy to get through one in a month. So you can keep those a bit for more than the 1 month if necessary. So I think that is all. Do you have any questions for me? Okay. Oh, yes.
Can you say, for example, I wanted to rent an instrument next July from the 15th to the 30th. Can you do one slot?
Okay. Okay. The question is, can you reserve a telescope well in advance? And yes, for a specific time. And the answer is really no, because the objective is to keep the telescopes in circulation. And so I wouldn't hold one out. Now, that said, a couple of years ago, we only had 11 instruments. We've got 18 now. And so they're continually coming in and going. So if you know that you want one at a specific time, you can always send me that a message to that effect as early as you want. And I'll make a little note next to it. And then if I can arrange it so that it will work out for you, I will do that. But you know, again, it has to come with the idea that the idea is to keep those telescopes in the hands of observers at all times. But even if I didn't have exactly the one you wanted, there's a good chance that you can still get a telescope for that period. Does that answer your question? Yep. Okay. Yes, Suresh. I do. Oh, yes. Suresh was asking which scopes are the most popular. Well, they are the 8-inch Dobbs and the 8-inch Schmidt Cassegrains. And as I was saying, you know, a couple of years ago, we only had 2 each of those. Now we have 5 each of those. So they're just coming and going all the time. Yes. Oh, yes. My dear wife, Mary, just reminded me. Okay. This is a request I have for members. Okay. As you can well imagine, because when the telescopes come back, sometimes those little caps and those plugs are lost, right? I'm sure none of you have ever lost a cap or a plug on the field, right? Never, 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 never. Yes, of course. But so I'm going to ask if any of you just happen to have in your drawer or your box stuff, some old caps or plugs or even eyepiece cases that you don't need anymore and you'd love to clean out that drawer, bring them to a meeting, give them to me, give them to Steve, and I'm sure we can find something that they will fit. Okay, thank you. Anything else? Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you, Anton. Okay. Ahmed has a public service announcement.
Okay, thank you all for making phone calls here in person or online. We have our quorum, so. Thank you. So yes, we don't have to redo this again and have our candidates come out here and tell us why we should vote for them and not abstain. So thank you all. Thank you all for voting and pretty much, Matt, how about everybody in here? I think everybody here already voted and turned in their ballots. The people online, please make sure you vote. Matt, let's plan to close the poll at 8 o'clock and then we're going to count the votes after that. Sounds good? And with that said.
Okay. And thank you. Thank you, Ahmed. Yeah, I'll take full credit for getting that quorum. That would have been on Ahmed if we didn't, but the B team will take credit.
I think it's hey,
So
John.
Anybody online or in the room, if you called someone and helped us get there, thank you very much. Thank you.
John, it was a group effort from everybody on the board and everybody in the membership.
Oh, pardon me?
It was a group effort from everybody on the board and everybody in the membership.
I'll second that. Thank you. And thank you, Matt, for letting him in.
That's just one of the many services I provide.
That is one of the roles of, I forgot to mention it in my little speech, the vice president, is you fill in for the president when as needed. Isn't this great? But so for our public events, December 16th, and this we were talking about Suresh, the BSIG winter presentation by Bob King. Suresh, did you want to say anything, or you just want me to talk to that? 30 seconds. Yeah, yep, we'll give you 30 seconds.
Hi, everyone. When I asked Bob if he wanted to kick off our presentations for this winter, we started talking about topics, and we came up with a really cool one, which is what are like the coolest, weirdest objects in the universe. So at this presentation on the 16th, Bob's going to talk about how far is the closest black hole? What's a bipolar nebula? What colors are Saturn's auroras? And we'll explore these and other interesting morsels, extraterrestrial morsels, as he calls them, on the 16th. So hope everybody can tune in.
Okay. And just to add to that, the BSIG takes a different format when it gets cold in the winter, because our Metcalf field, where Suresh normally meets, has a bit of snow and it's difficult. So it moves to Zoom presentations rather than outdoors. And then is it typically May, April if the snow melts? Last year was tough, but yeah. And then CGO is open for members, but this year there will be no snow plowing. So bring your shovels if you're going to go down to CGO. And I don't know if there'll be any coordinated efforts around that. That'll be Trena and the CGO staff to figure that out. So that's another volunteer opportunity. If you know anybody with a nice blade or a big blower, yeah, you can. That's a volunteer opportunity. LLC is closed for the winter. And then we also have the Eclipse countdown, if you're keeping track of that. 123 days till April 8th. And speaking of that, we're going to be kind of putting out a request. Anyone who's going to be in the local area, we would like to host something out at ELO. There's nothing formally scheduled yet, but that would be probably a likely location that we would meet. And so we'd need a key holder for ELO to do that. Or if you have another location or any ideas in mind where we as an organization could put in Eclipse. And when you think about it, okay, so we have a lot of us, and I guess Dave's going to come up here. We have a lot of us into astronomy, so we're going to be heading off to go see it.
I know that a lot of you are going to be heading out to get the actual total eclipse, but there's a lot of people who will not be able to do that and are asking through the info email, which is what I happen to monitor as secretary, if ELO or is the MAS going to have any kind of event associated with the eclipse. Okay, and I know we have a partial eclipse here, but a lot of people haven't even seen that. And so if you are going to be here, and especially if you happen to be a key holder at ELO, I think we ought to go ahead and plan on having an event. And I kind of need to know if that's solid or not. So maybe Doug, if you can get back to me at some point and let me know what the deal is on that, so that I can tell people, yes, we will have an event, or no, we're not going to have an event. So thank you. Yeah.
Tell people that if they're just get this stuff now.
Yeah, I can do that too. Of course, the eyeglasses and stuff. So, yeah, okay. So, you.
And another public service announcement. Sorry, Mark, I'm going to skip over you for a second. Member badges. Fill out a form. There's a form at the back of the room if you don't have a member badge. I don't know if you can fill one out if you forgot yours. I forgot mine. But if you need a badge, new members, you just fill out the form. We'll print up a badge for you. If you do have a badge and it's back there, years past, we used to turn them all in at the end of the meeting, and someone was responsible for that thing there and bringing badges in. We're trying to phase that out. So if you just take your badge with you and take it home and bring it to the meetings.
Also, on the MAS form, you can request a badge online.
Okay, it's an online form as well. You can request that. Any questions on that? No. Okay. And then the globe at night. Mark, it's yours.
Thanks, John. Last month, this is the last month of the Globe at Night campaign they are actually requesting reports made by us citizens. And Globe at Night is a citizen science project to gather data about how dark the sky is where you are. Not necessarily that you have to drive somewhere to find out how dark it is there. Just walk outside your back door and make an observation. So the observation is really easy to make. And it's really kind of painless because the Globe at Night website doesn't collect any personal data. You can also do it with an app. There's an app called Globe at Night. You could use the app. There again, the app doesn't record any information from you, personal information. So my understanding is that they don't have a campaign yet for 2024, and I don't know why that is, but maybe we'll find out. So this month it's go out, find Perseus. Now for everybody in this room, Perseus is easy to find, but the app and the website does a pretty good job of showing you where you need to look in the sky. So, you know, tell your friends, I mean, I push this at events where I'm at and it's all kids and there's parents there, and I go, don't worry about your kids because they don't record anything. You don't even have to, you can choose to not even put in your own location. You could move it to a park down the street. You could do anything you want if you don't want to use your house. So that being said, there's no excuse for you 20 some people that are in this room that between now and the 12th that you can't get out and make at least one reading. I myself tried to get out at least 3 or 4 times as long as it's clear. You know, obviously you need clear. Give yourself a little time to dark adapt so you can see the stars. Obviously, if you're in the city, obviously if you're in Minneapolis, you know, you don't have to spend too much time dark adapting because you probably can read a book in your backyard. So, you know, just go find that 1 or 2 stars that you can find and go report it. You also can report the conditions that are around you. You know, are you standing in the parking lot at Target, you know, with all the lights and making your observation there? There's nothing that says that you can't. You just have to record that place. And I think that's a good thing to do because that gives a data point within that data that was collected in a really bright spot. And then you can report that I was in the Target parking lot when I made this, and there are lights everywhere. What they're trying to do is they're trying to collect this data so that they can start moving toward it. And it's not even sponsored or even not even associated with dark skies. Everybody that knows is IDA, International Dark Skies. They're not even associated. This data may be fed to them. Data may be fed to municipalities that are making decisions about putting up new lights and expanding the city and things like that. So when they find this out, that data is being fed to those councils and those city governments to say, hey, pipe down the lights, you know, because light pollution, you know, the kind of interesting thing that I learned about light pollution is it's one of them that we can fix, and we can fix it really easy. We could fix it in the next 5 minutes. Everybody just walk over to that switch and just turn it off, you know? So, I mean, yeah, I know, let's do it. It'd be kind of cool to shoot the Milky Way from downtown Minneapolis. You know, actually have a true picture of what the Milky Way looks like in downtown Minneapolis. Can't do that, obviously, because, you know, people freak out. What's illegal? I've been waiting. I'm waiting for a power outage. I'm waiting for a power outage, really, to be honest with you. A big one. Have the whole grid go down because my camera will still work. So any questions from anybody in the room here, or any questions online from anybody about Globe at Night? You certainly can contact me. I will, you know, I could talk for a half hour about it if you'd like, but I don't think the rest of the people in here would like it. Thank you, everyone. Thanks, John.
Yep. Thank you, Mark. Astronomical League Awards. And I don't think, Jerry, did you see Jerry online? Is he online, or is he still online, or is?
Don't see it.
Okay, I didn't think he was going to plan to be here according to Trena's notes, but we have no awards to present this month, but next month it could be you. All we need are a couple of clear nights, right, Mark? Yeah. So get out there and observe. Oh, I got to say that. Articles for the Gemini. We're always looking for articles for the Gemini. And you can get those in email gemini@mnastro.org. And we're looking for anything, just personal experience, a current event you attended, what type of anything about equipment. There's, as long as it's just your astronomy, the club related, and personal experiences, that's all we're looking for. And the deadline is January 10th for the February Gemini, and it's March 10th for the April. Any questions about Gemini? Okay. If you're looking for ideas, sometimes I don't know how many people are regular readers of Gemini, but if you read it on a regular basis, it can may spark something, and oh, yeah, I could write about that or think of something else. Then happenings this week, Dave. Do you want to talk about this? You want me to?
So every week, I put out a little publication through an email distribution, MailChimp. You probably heard of it, and it's mainly to announce any upcoming events in the next week or so that the MES may be having. I also put in like some public service announcements, like for the election. I put out who the candidates were and things of that sort. So if you haven't signed up for it, you can send an email to get yourself signed up for it. It usually comes out on Tuesdays right before noon. That's when I schedule it, and has some good tidbits in it. A little more newsworthy when it gets to observing season, but I've been having almost something every week. So it's just another little way for us to communicate to you, the membership.
Thank you. Our next meeting, January 5th, 2024. Whoa, hey. No kidding. Well, gee, yeah, there, I guess, yeah. Professor Anna Williams, you can give us some dirt on Anna before. But she's a professor at McAllister. She's going to be here discussing radio telescopes and detecting magnetic fields in distant galaxies. That sounds interesting.
There's a typo on that date. The Thursday in January is the 4th.
Oh.
But the slide says a different date.
Okay. We will fix that. January 4th. Check the forum. And yeah. Yes, or check the website. Front page, it'll be out there. Is it wrong out there or not? I don't know if it's wrong or right out there. Dave, did you send me that? And we actually the year was wrong well in that, and I didn't notice it. Corrected that, but didn't pick up on the year, on the day rather, the date. Well, thank you for pointing that out. So January 4th, 2024, Thursday. That will be here. Pardon me? Oh, that's also a good point. So yeah, well, we'll see. So I'm going to turn it over now to Ahmed.
Okay, so polls have closed, and I'll announce part of the results because some of it we still need to verify it. So pretty much, John, congratulations on being elected vice president. Abstain didn't win.
Abstain.
It's a vote of good confidence. Matt, you'll continue doing, congrats, Matt. You'll continue doing the accounting for the club and writing checks. So yeah, checks go to Matt. And for the board member at large, we have Jessi and we have Al Touchberry. They're actually separated by 2 votes. So we're not calling it. It's that close. we're not calling it today, as we need to verify that everybody who's online is actually a legit member. So Jessi, Al, I wish you both good luck. And we're gonna be counting votes tonight. And Hal, thank you for deciding to run. And but yeah, it's now between Jessi and Al. Exactly. Yeah. So we're gonna be looking through the ballots, you know, on the light, make sure that you use the actual blue pin. Exactly. Exactly. We give you black and blue pens. If you use the red one, it's not valid. Right? If you put an X, we don't know whether you're crossing out a candidate or you're voting for a candidate. So that doesn't, no, just kidding. No, we're just the in-person ballots have already been counted. We're good with them. The online ones, we did a preliminary count and both of them combined, they're separated by 2 votes. And effectively, we just need to go through the online and check that everybody who voted online is effectively an active member and count those votes. And yes, 2 votes is the difference. I don't think it has ever happened in the club history, right? Okay, well, yeah. Jessi, Al, are you guys gonna ask for a recount at some point? Yeah, stick it to the Astronomical League and contest the election. Exactly. Good. Okay. Thanks everybody for joining today. And today is another round where we look at members photography. This time we're looking at Eclipse and Aurora photos and videos from this year. And first I want to start by saying many thanks to each and every one who sent me pictures. All of them were amazing. You know, looking at the Eclipse or looking at Aurora from different angles and different perspectives. Thank you all for doing that. And this time, actually, there is no gift. So there isn't like the best and the worst picture. And part of that is Trena, and maybe that's why Trena decided not to show up. Sorry, Trena, I had to pick on you. So, well, she's the president, right? But no, we're not gonna be doing best and worst. And but pretty much the objective here today, or the way we're gonna progress, is that everybody, you're gonna get like 3 minutes or so. You come up and all the pictures that you've sent me, we'll walk, you know, you'll talk us through them, share them. You know, some people sent me just their, you know, Eclipse or Aurora photos, and some people actually sent me team photos. I'm interested in actually knowing a little bit of the backstory of people you went with and stuff like that. And we're going to do it like last time so that we can keep moving forward. And everybody will do 3 minutes. And if you want less, you can always go for less. So with that said, let's actually start with the first one, Mark Connolly. Mark, you're online? Okay. So I'll go through Mark's slides then. So pretty much Mark sent me this mosaic of pictures. He was here in Minnesota. He didn't go anywhere. And this mosaic of pictures, and as you know, over here, it was like, was it like 65, 70% or something? So it wasn't the full annular eclipse, but these are the pictures that he got here. And I would say this is actually a pretty good job because I was here in town and we're clouded over. So I don't know where he went to actually be able to get that. I know there were like, you know, gaps in the clouds, but these are really good. These are really good pictures. So next is Steve Emert. And your 3 minutes start now.
Well, it's not going to take that long. How do I forward it to the? Click down. Okay. I'll click down. Oh, both in one picture. Okay, so as everybody knows, I'm not. That's the right reaction. So everybody knows I'm not an imager, so I take quick pictures with my cell phone. So the one on the right is a tarantula. So Suresh had a bunch of us out in Oklahoma for a star party leading up to the eclipse. And we had a really big wind come up, which damaged one of Suresh's scopes. And it tipped over Dave Falkner's eyepiece case. And all of these pieces of pluck foam started blowing way down the road. So I was running after the pluck foam and I ran into the tarantula. And I texted the picture to my wife and she goes, no. That's not I know. It's a tarantula nebula. Anyway, and that kind of goes along with, before we headed down there, she warned me that, hey, they have scorpions down there, and those things, keep them out of your shoes and all that stuff. They might run in there. Well, she said, maybe you need to get an ultraviolet light because they fluoresce under a UV light. So I went to Menards, found out you can get a UV flashlight for about $10. Who knew? Didn't see any scorpions, but I did confirm that you do not want to show UV lights in hotels or B&Bs or anything like that. Confirm that. Okay, anyway, the real semi-astronomy picture. So I just do visual, and this is a sun funnel, and it puts about a 5-inch wide picture of the sun on there. This picture is, you can see it's about 5 seconds before third contact. So I took the picture, about 5 seconds later, I yell out third contact. And I guess I didn't yell loud enough, because about 30 seconds later, Suresh yells out third contact. So I proved that with a big 5-inch picture, it's better than peering through a scope to make sure you have the resolution to see when the contact happened. And that is all I got.
Thank you, Steve. I always love the story. The pictures are amazing, but the stories are always way better. Okay.
Differential the home.
Yep. Okay, next in line is Dave Falkner. Go ahead, Dave.
Okay, and I was on the same trip as Steve and Suresh and a couple other folks, and this is a couple of my pictures. I managed to get a partial shot before annularity that included a couple of the sunspots on there. I thought that turned out really nice. And then we got to full annularity, and as you can see, we were pretty close to center there. We had nice concentric there, so I'm sure that the other members of our team got some really nice shots as well. This was the group that went. As you can see, Stephen, myself, and Suresh. We had Nick Hartman, and I'm sorry, Don. Oh yeah, Don. Yeah, right. And Don Gasnick, and then Brown. I'm sorry, Mike Brown, who joined us. He's not actually a member of the club. He's a friend of Bob King's, but he brought the biggest telescope. So 24-inch Dob is pretty nice. So we had a good time. And there's Steve's setup there with his sun funnel. Okay, so yeah, so it was a good time. And we stayed at this Motel 6, which is a little sketchy. If you read the article, you'll learn more about it. The food, yeah. There's a nice story. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. No, the picture. I actually used my DSLR attached to a C8 with a standard solar filter on it. And as I mentioned, I think it was last time, about taking pictures, or maybe 2 times ago, taking pictures. I practiced taking pictures at the VRBO that we were at in Oklahoma first, make sure I got the settings right and all that. And then, so I was all set to kind of get the right settings as we got to the actual Eclipse itself. But I think this is at about, well, it's just a wide open setting on the camera with about, I want to say 1/400th of a second. So it was pretty quick, because the sun's still pretty bright even with the filter on it. So it's not a long exposure. Okay. Anything else? All right. Thank you.
So I guess why Steve now is talking about the UV light and Dave about the Motel 6. I'm interested in the backstory later tonight. Okay, Nick Hartman. Nick, you want to go ahead? And I can flip the slides for you.
I'm not sure if it's actually called that.
Okay, so Nick sent me a video, and there's a window over here I gotta move. So let me play that video for you. As you can see, it looks like he went to New Mexico. Play that again. You know, as they say, a picture is worth 1,000 words. I would say a video is worth 1,000 pictures. No offense to people who send pictures. They're all amazing, but I love the videos. Especially, here's the thing, for the Eclipse, the pictures are good, but for the Aurora, the videos are amazing.
That's not for our duration.
For our duration, wow. Okay, one more time, or are we good?
Good.
Okay, let's move on here. Next, Mark Jobe. And by the way, we're covering all the Eclipse stuff, and then we'll go through the Aurora stuff.
What picture is that? Push the button. You sent me a bunch. Oh, so this is one, go to two.
This is just like the last one.
Yeah, okay, almost. Another one. There's the ring.
Yeah, you were very close.
We were, no, I measured it exactly in feet using Google. It was, you're right, it was about a mile, it was a little over, but I mean, it was like 6,000 some feet. Oh boy, okay, yeah, we nailed that. So, what scope was that? That wasn't a scope, that was a camera lens. A 100 to 400 zoom with a, who's the filter starts with S? Seymour. So a Seymour filter, 400. Yep. Yeah, I pushed it way out. Filled it nice and went, that's good enough. Oh, and then thanks Conrad for the advice about getting the Solar Quest, because that was riding the Solar Quest. So it held it dead center the whole time, except for the little bit where we had clouds at the end but then it got back on track. So, all right, next is that all?
That's it for now. The Aurora stuff is later. Thank you, Mark. Okay,
The best picture on mine.
Rebecca, you want to go ahead?
Okay. So about 6 months before this, I was online in the middle of the night doing some stuff, and I thought, I wonder what's going on down in Roswell, New Mexico. And I looked at the Hampton Inn, which was a very nice hotel, by the way, and made reservations. And then about a couple months before the eclipse, I was with some people, and my husband was sitting there, and they said, so what are you going to do for the eclipse? And I said, Roswell, New Mexico. And he said, we haven't talked about that. Okay, whatever. And then about a month before the thing, we were with another group of people, and they're like, Rebecca, where are you going to be for it? And I said, Roswell, New Mexico. And he's like, I was like, I've got the reservations. I'm going. I'm an adult. I can take myself if you don't want to go with me. But yeah, he had a blast. So we went. But I wanted to say thank you to the speakers we had before this, because all that advice I took into account, and it was wonderful to have that to fall back on. And I have the adapter for my camera, for my telescope. I have an 8-inch Meade Schmidt-Newtonian LX55. And I also got the adapter thing for my cell phone to put on there. And I did practice, but when it came time, I did not want to take 1 second away from me just looking at it. I just didn't want to put all that on there and pull it off. I just kept watching it happen. And so I took my cell phone out and just held it over there and just snapped it through the eyepiece. And I did get one that was pretty much darn center, but I kind of liked it. This just at the end of it was kind of my favorite. It was a blast. So I started. I did.
Thank you, Rebecca. And to follow up your thanks for people who spoke here, I want to highlight Dave Falkner and Ron Schmidt, who came here and gave us a talk. And what was the most important thing they told us? Practice, practice, practice. That's it, and practice. And the other thing, which is something that stuck with me, is like, enjoy the moment. There's going to be plenty of amazing pictures out there. Okay, next, Conrad Sanders.
So, I think it was October 9th, wasn't it? What's the 14th? Okay, I'm losing track of time. My equipment I used was my Lunt Hydrogen Alpha. And it's on a Solar Quest, like Mark had mentioned. The Solar Quest is a fantastic mount. I used my SCT before to take sun, but it's a manual thing with this Solar Quest mount. Okay, that's much better. But with the Solar Quest, it tracks the sun. It's fantastic. So, but yeah, you can see it with the Hydrogen Alpha. I was able to get some prominences and then a few sunspots there. I was very lucky that morning. I remember getting up at 8 o'clock and looked out. It was beautiful blue sky in Egan. It was perfect. I was very excited. We're all around 9:30, 10, the clouds start rolling in. So I had 2 scopes set up. I had my SCT to practice on that. But because the clouds are coming in and out all the time, I just said, the heck with it, just focus on using the Lunt because it tracked it well. So that's one of them. You can go to the next one. I think a little bit different. Here's where the clouds are coming in. This is early on. Yeah, early on, like I said, I just had to snap them. I only had about a half an hour's worth of time to get it and the clouds rolled in. So that's kind of an interesting one. You can go to the next one. Some more clouds coming in, kind of eerie looking. It's kind of like that, but
You can see the canals better on the previous picture.
yeah, yeah. Darn pixels. And then another one that looks like it's pretty much the same. Go ahead to the next one. This is a little lighter. I was messing around. So this one I couldn't resist because I knew it was close to Halloween. And I gave my wife an assignment. I told her, I said, go out and find some witches. And she came back and she had like 18 of them. Just like kind of a mosaic of all these witches. And I'm not real good at Photoshop. I have Photoshop. I haven't had to take any time to learn it, but I Googled it and I found this witch that I really liked. And I thought, plop it on there. I thought it was perfect timing for Halloween. So yeah, that's Photoshopped on there, but I got a kick out of that one. So anyway, thanks to my wife for helping me out. And then figure out how to cut and paste stuff on a mosaic and just take the one witch and then reduced it. And it was kind of a good exercise to go through. Is that it? Is that all of them? I think might be.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
All right. Thank you, Conrad. And next, Chris Setness. No tree in the way this time.
No tree. No.
And not your neighbor.
Right. So I don't know what I'm going to say about these. So I have also no idea what order they're in. So yeah, I didn't know exactly how to photograph this beforehand. So I set up 2 different rigs and did 2 different styles of photography. This was with a 72mm Astrotech and Botter white light film. And then I used a special Botter Continuum filter, which is a narrowband filter specifically for imaging the sun. And the trick there is it eliminates all of the chromatic aberration from a small doublet like I was using. And you get a very sharp image of the sun. So
Yeah.
and then this is, I was trying to take a really good image of the sun, but the moon kept getting in the way. So and when I realized that we had driven all the way down there to create this, I could have drawn this in paint. So these were taken the same style as planetary imaging, where you're taking a short video and then stacking them with auto stacker. And that gets kind of problematic, especially down, around the the edge here, when you start to get these really fast moving horns, even 15 seconds, they're moving so fast that it's hard to stack. So here's that. And do you have videos in here yet? All right, so the other rig was a 200 millimeter Lentar lens from the film days on a Fuji camera on a camera tracker. And that's what this did. You know, spent a lot of time figuring out how to polar line that during the day. Fun tricks, but. And then at the end, we had a whole lot of clouds come in. But we didn't have any clouds until after annularity. So we were really thrilled.
So Chris, like maybe it's my glasses on the, when you're done with the video, previous pictures, it looked like you had diffraction edges, that your picture was so sharp. Maybe you had diffraction edges around. Yeah, see the fringes? Like on the, like, I think that's that artifact.
Yeah, there's some artifacts. But yeah. So then I had some pictures of us on the field. So
I had a second video, right?
yeah, I had a second video in there too. Did we skip it?
Oh, I think you skipped one of them.
Oh, there it is. So this is the larger rig, and it's choppy because I was taking individual videos and then stacking them. So, and I didn't have a really good way to do a consistent cadence between images. So
Stop action animation, man.
yeah,
How many gigabytes?
a lot. No. There's a fair amount of compression to archive everything when I got done processing it. All right, that's done. Skip to this stuff. So this is just playing around. We got some Eclipse gum, which is terrible, by the way. Absolutely terrible. This is a sun funnel I brought along. And this is the four of us. And all of the stuff in this picture fit in the back of that pickup. Plus more, we left stuff at the house the day that we set up for the Eclipse. And Russ Durkee actually provided us another bin to haul back. So it was all that stuff plus stuff at the house and another bin from Russ that had to come all the way back to Minnesota with four guys in the pickup. This was in Texas. I think it was west of Fredericksburg is probably a good way to say that. So it's on a popular motorcycle bike route. So Twisted Sisters, I think we were in the northeast corner of that bike route. So we had a lot of motorcycle traffic coming through. Thank you, Chris. This is a lot of fun. So next one is Bernie Stinger. Bernie's not here. He is actually hosting an outreach event down in Tucson as part of the Tucson Astronomy Club that he's also a member of, in addition to this club. But he did send me some words to read them to the rest of the club members here as we go through his pictures. And he's pretty much saying, you know, he drove to Roswell, New Mexico from Tucson the night before and joined up with four others from the Tucson club that morning for the eclipse. They decided on an RV park south of Roswell where one of the group was staying. The clouds were forecasted to move in that morning, but we decided to stay there and give the others in the RV park the opportunity to view as well. As it turned out, the clouds held off until about 20 minutes after maximum eclipse, and we had a great view. We lucked out. I'm the person in the red jackets in the group photo. We'll share it here in a bit. My images are in numerical sequence of 1 through 3. Number 1 is through, 3 is pre-maximum, 4 is at maximum, 5 and 6 are at post-maximum. They were taken through my 160 millimeter pressure tuned H-alpha scope, hydrogen alpha scope, using an X2 Barlow lens for an effective flow line of
1000 millimeter. My camera was a Malicam DS 10C, one-shot color, and I varied the exposure in from 50 to 150 millisecond range. Numerous mountains and valleys, Bailey beads are visible along the several nice prominences, both pre and post maximum. Note on the maximum eclipse image that it's not a perfect circle with a slight offset top to bottom due to our
That must not be too popular in these hotels. He always goes in there, kicks the door in. You can't see him from there, can you?
Okay. So he was saying this picture here for the maximum exposure is offset because they're not exactly at the center line, as you know, as the center line passed southwest of town.
Since you are the owner at the meeting, you have to be the one to mute.
Okay. And yeah, everybody online, just make sure you're muted. So if you're talking to somebody next to you, it's not interfering with the rest of us. Thank you. But yeah, as you can see, here's Bernie in the middle there in the red jacket and his friends at the RV park. Okay, next is Valts. Want to go ahead?
So Chris shared the picture of the group of us. So Chris, Mark, Clayton, myself went down to Twisted Sisters intersection. So there was truly a lot of motorcyclists going by, and it was a fun place to observe. All right, so this is all taken with actually the club 40 millimeter loaner scope, the 40 millimeter PST. So captured every couple minutes. And actually this is a composite mosaic that I did from start to finish. And toward the end of post totality, as in Chris's video, there was clouds coming in, but since I was picking and choosing my frames, I was able to kind of make this nice mosaic right there. So that's basically it. It was the 40 millimeter PST mounted on my G11, and using my camera was a ZWO planetary cam. Fire capture.
You should send it into the API.
All right, then using the same data, so each one of these frames is from a separate movie, so I compiled it into a movie. So the next should be the actual. Oh.
You didn't send me the picture.
Oh, I did send you the movie. Okay. Anyway, there was a movie, but so in the middle of the frame, since it was the 40 millimeter PST, you could actually see some prominences go off, and there was actually some eruptions in the middle of the sun from a couple different sunspots. So as the moon was going across, you actually see the eruptions. So I have posted that on Slack, and I can post it. I'll post it maybe on the forum or something.
How about that? Why don't you email it to me and I'll work with Trena to include it in the next meeting at the beginning.
All right, that's fine. That's fine, but I will post it on the forum and it is posted on Slack. So
yep. Sounds good. Thank you, Valts. Okay. And last Eclipse picture, our new vice president.
Yeah.
Oh,
I have this yet. Okay, so I went down to New Mexico. That's part of my group, and you'll see, hiding over, behind the tripod there, my brother Mark, who's over here, and so he can attest to some of this. But that we went down there with his son-in-law, and we stayed with his son-in-law's folks up north of Albuquerque. In Abiquiu is where we were staying. By the way, Bortle, about 1.5. That's a nice place to stay. Yes, we got a bit of observing done in there a little bit, and right in their backyard, just go out the door and there it is. But yeah, we had to drive around the cauldron for about a couple hours, and then we had that. I'm drawing a blank on the name. Mark, remember the San or I can't remember the name of the town, but we found that Google Maps is great, by the way, when you're trying to set up at a decided location, because you go in and, oh, look, there's a park here. And so we just pulled into this park, and there, if way off in the background on the upper left there, you'll see that's the only other group that was there. And another family kind of came in with kids playing, and they're probably wondering what in the world are these people doing. But yeah, we're all set up there. The rig right in the front there, that's my C8. You can see it has the full aperture solar filter on it, and my Canon 6D on the back. And then set up next, that's hooked up to my laptop there, and I'm running Eclipse Orchestrator, which fantastic. You program it takes, you have to practice. You let it go, and all you got to do is make sure the sun is centered every once in a while, because my tracking isn't perfect on this old scope, but I make sure it's centered. And plus it's hard to pull a line in the day. But you just watch the Eclipse, and it'll rattle off as many pictures as you program in. And so this is a photo I took right at the mid eclipse. I wanted to make some pinholes with the intent was initially to make a pinhole with my fist. So you can see my fist there with the pinhole. And as I took the picture, I looked, and my other fingers made other pinholes. So that's why they're all little circles, all those little Cheerios, because that was in the annularity phase of the eclipse. And you can see my the shadow is weird too. That's why I don't know if the rest of you get this. Every eclipse I've been, so this is my third eclipse. I've been to 2 totals, and every one of them, approaching eclipse, it feels like you're dizzy. It's like it's ethereal. I just get this feeling like things are out of balance, and I think it's just I can't focus right. There's something with the light, and this one here was even worse. And I think it's the annularity part, the way it does the shadows. It looks more like you're on a stage with a total eclipse. Just like you're on a stage, your shadow is very distinct. This one was not. The shadow was everything was just kind of muddled, and it was really weird effect. But this is, like I said, my Canon 6D right at prime focus. So I have a 6.3 focal reducer field flattener on my C8. And so it's a 1265 millimeter. I'm shooting about 12, I think I was shooting at 1260 seconds at f200, or at ISO 200. And that's approaching. One thing to notice, especially in these partials, it's very evident, the lunar surface, how the upper left to the northeast, how smooth, and the southeast, or excuse me, the northwest and the southeast, the mountains. And it's very evident. We were 13 miles north of center line where we were. So that's why you can see that little offset. And then there you see that shows the mountains too. And look how smooth that north is. Okay.
Thank you, John.
Right. What?
San Ysidro, New Mexico.
Oh, San Ysidro, New Mexico. San Ysidro, it's YS. Yeah.
Okay, now we're going to shift gears to Eclipse pictures, and we're going to start with Melissa, who is a new member. And first thing, thank you, Melissa, for sending me this picture in last minute. Why don't you go ahead and talk through it?
Well, thank you for including it. I'm sorry I was so last minute.
Oh, you're good.
Had the reminder in my calendar for a month, as you do, and finally remembered last night. So thank you for including it. This was from a couple of years ago. I was up in Alaska with a friend of mine. We drove from Anchorage up to Fairbanks, and we only had 2 nights in Fairbanks. We were really lucky the first night, and we saw some, but not quite to this degree. The second night, we were driving out to it's either Chena Hot Springs. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing it right, but it's about an hour east of Fairbanks. And on the way, we happened to see the Northern Lights coming out, so we were able to pull over and find a spot. And for me, I love this photo because there were some trees and some brush and kind of made a frame for it. But I was able to grab this with my Nikon 5100 and a lens that I had rented because all I owned were the little kit lenses. So I had rented a really nice, it was a 14 millimeter, I think. Shoot, I wrote it down so I wouldn't forget. I think it was the Sigma 14 millimeter. So f-stop at 1.8. And was able to grab this. And I'd seen the Northern Lights before from, northern Minnesota. I grew up here, but seeing them up in Alaska was a whole different deal. So yeah.
You have a second picture.
Yeah, this was oh, you know what, guys, I got them backwards. This is from these were both from that same like parking lot basically that we pulled over in. And even as the lights were kind of dissipating here, you can see it's less of the Aurora, but we were able to grab some really nice just star photos in general. So this is from that same spot, the same evening.
Thank you, Melissa, and welcome to the club.
Yeah, thanks.
Amazing. Those are amazing pictures. Okay, next is Mark. And by the way, one of the videos that Mark took, if it wasn't for me pushing him to get out and go to Sherburne and see the Eclipse, to see the Aurora that night, he wouldn't have taken that video, right, Mark? You were resisting all day and I kept texting you, let's go. I'll play him for you.
Yeah, I need the phone. Okay. So let's see, which one is this? Oh, this is taken with my Canon RA with a 14 millimeter wide angle lens. This is from this past summer at Lockheed Parle State Park, southwestern Minnesota. Came out of the camper and it was dark. I was going to shoot some Milky Way pictures. And I go, it's kind of a glow in the north. I go, it can't be. I even looked at my phone and I said, not even, there wasn't any really indication even on my phone that, I use spaceweather.com and a myriad of other tools. I said, that's not Aurora, but let me check. I went and set the camera on the picnic table and it was still there at 2 o'clock in the morning. So it got about 5 hours of data, but it was kind of cool because it started out, and I presume when it first started, that's what we saw, we saw that glow, that yellow. It really wasn't too green. And then I just kind of left it and I went and did some deep sky stuff with my other rig. And then when I was amazed when I looked at the next day and scrolled through the pictures and went, oh, there was an explosion there. And I think there's a gap in here too, where there was nothing collected because I made a astrophotographer landscape error 101. I didn't erase the card before I started the evening. So it was full. And I went to check and I go, hey, how come I don't hear clicks over there anymore? And I went and looked and I go, sure enough, the card was full. So I had to go track down another card. So I think there's probably about a half hour missing there. I'll go to the next video because I know you have another one. I had to see what I sent you. So this is, where is this? Oh, this is my backyard. So this is another one of those nights. Oh, this was one of those nights where it came out about midnight or something like that, or 11 o'clock. And because I got a text or something like that. Well, I got a text from a friend of mine in Michigan. Said, hey, there's Aurora. And I go, yeah, right. So I went and took my camera out. Obvious, same thing again. So I got this in my backyard, and the reason it's more skewed to the northwest is because on the right-hand side of the screen, if I get that part of the picture in, there's some serious light pollution that needs to be taken care of. But yeah, this is my backyard. It's pretty cool. This one is from Sherburne. This is the big one in March. And you can see how nice people are, how they don't get in your shot. They don't walk in front of your camera. And, nobody uses flash. Did you see the one guy that came and stood right in front of my camera? I gave it a, hey, I'm taking pictures. Oh, that's what you're doing. I'm going, dude. Yeah, you're standing there with your cell phone. Another one. But yeah, this I don't think this is the night you were there. That's not the night of Steve. That's not the night of Steve that we said that's not Steve, and it was Steve. But yeah, so this one, I think I was out, I don't know, 3 o'clock, I think, when I went to bed probably. But it's, I don't know if I made a video that night. So this is, I wish I'd have taken shorter exposures. These exposures are 10 or 12 seconds. So this isn't a video. So this is used LR time lapse, and I believe there are 500-600 pictures in this video. I don't know. That's all I have. Any questions from anybody? Just to let everybody know, I've been watching Aurora since I was this tall because I grew up in North Dakota. So I was counting here the other day. Somebody asked me how many times I've seen the Aurora this year, and I think I'm at 10. If it had been out, Dave, when we were up north, that would have been 11, but I'm still waiting.
You'll get there. I think you'll get there, Mark. We're almost at solar maximum now. Mark, can you repeat the question?
Okay, she wanted to know if I use anything special with my software to correct the aberration of the lens. And what I use is in Lightroom, there's with my lens that has an automatic correction where it makes it flat. So that's how I get it out. And it's supposed to help the aberrations in the corner, but if you really could look at one frame, it's not that good.
Thanks, Mark. So Suresh is going to show us his Aurora stuff, and it's a shame you didn't have any eclipse photos, but we got a picture of you watching the eclipse.
Yes, thanks. I have 1,100 blurry images from that eclipse. My scope wouldn't collimate. Oh well, but I saw everybody else's. I'm not sure which. I sent you 4 different Aurora nights. Okay, so this was actually from CGO on September 3rd last year. So it's about 40 seconds of Aurora here. So my little gang and I like to go down there to image, and to be honest, sometimes the Aurora kind of gets in the way. It's kind of annoying. And this is a night where we knew that there was activity coming, but we kept waiting and waiting and waiting, and it never seemed to come. And then we were all in the warming hut at CGO, and probably at 12:30 or so, and I decided to stick my head out, and I'm like, Aurora! And so we all ran out, and I set up my camera and did this. This is about, I tend to shoot every 20 to 30 seconds, and this is probably close to an hour's worth of activity. And I normally use my Nikon D7200 and either a 50 or a 28 millimeter lens. I can't remember which one I used for this, but yeah, this is just pointed northeast out of the parking lot at CGO. So let's run again. Yeah, that was actually pretty cool because we weren't expecting that much activity that night. No. So let this go through. I have no idea which pictures you selected, so. Okay. All right. That should be just about done. Go to the next one. That's the same. Oh, I sent you 2 videos? Yeah. Oh, I didn't know that. This must have been from March 19th of 21 from CGO again. I remember this, as I recall, this one was even brighter than the one in last September of 22. And this one is similar. This is in the morning, I think closer to maybe 3 a.m. On this one. Same equipment, same camera, and same lens. Oh, yeah, then I think there's a couple of pictures, right? That she included. And so this is probably from 2016, probably those. This might be from. Oh, okay. So you say in 21 and 22? Okay. This would have been just from probably the same night. So that one had I think they call it a coronal ring, that's the term, that you get a rounded edge like this. And sometimes it'll go high in the sky, and that's amazing when you see that. It just makes you want to be further north to get more of it, right? So yeah, I think, how many did you include? Yeah, that's from last September, so last year. So you get the dancing spikes, different colored spikes, and of course the different colors mean different elements. So I can't remember what the red is. Is that the oxygen? Oxygen, yeah. And then green is the nitrogen. So oxygen and nitrogen in the green. Cool. That's all I got. Any questions, anybody?
Thank you, Suresh. That concludes our feature presentation. I got a couple of things here to close out the meeting. First thing, this is effectively the conclusion of our business meeting for the elections. And as I said, John and Matt both were elected for vice president and treasurer respectively. And for the board member at large, currently, there is a 2-vote split effectively between Jessi and Alan. And Steve and I are going to be sitting right after this to confirm after this. Maximum by Monday, the 11th, we're going to actually have the official results posted on, on the different membership channels, whether it's going to go on the Gemini, it's going to go on Slack, it's going to go on the forum, and it will also go on the happenings. But many thanks to each and every one of you for, who decided to run, and people who came here to vote and help us with the quorum and calling people. And I especially want to thank the people who actually made this election happen. I want to thank Dave. I want to thank Steve. I want to thank Valts. And I want to thank Trena for helping make sure this all come together. And at the same time, thank the candidates, John, Matt, Jessi, Al, and Hal. Thank you all. So that concludes our business meeting. The last announcement I have is, are we meeting after this and where? Okay, so we're meeting at Pizza Luce here in Roseville right after the meeting. See you there. Thank you.